Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today with this short little workshop. My name is Dr. Stephanie West, and we are going to talk today about phonics, word recognition, and spelling instruction. As you can see, the key concepts that we're going to talk about are effective, developmentally appropriate instruction related to phonics, word recognition, and spelling. So in this first part, we're going to talk about that appropriately, developmentally and appropriate instruction related to phonics and word recognition, and then we'll go into spelling. So phonics and word recognition and word knowledge, basically. So phonics has to do with the relationship with graphemes, which is the smallest part of the written language. And then the phonemes, which is the speech. So you've got the graphemes, which is the written language, and then you've got the phonemes, which is the sounds. So you've got the written and the sound. And then we put these together. We put them in different order between letters or groups of letters and the sounds they represent. Now then we go into word knowledge, which is a broader term, which includes phonics, but it also includes knowledge of other aspects of how written words work, how they come together to make word parts, morphemes, and how their construction and how they relate to other words and their histories. So phonics instruction teaches children the relationship between the letters, which we talked about, the graphemes, and the written language of the individual sounds, like the phonemes, that spoken language. So we're teaching children to use the relationships to read and then write words. Teachers of reading and publishers of programs of beginning reading instructions sometimes use different labels to describe these relationships. And you can see some of those at the bottom. A lot of times we really get into the letter sound association or the correspondence, and then the sound with the spelling. So you can review those different types of relationships. So our different approaches to phonics instructions include different things. And so when you really look at it, and you probably don't know that they're broken down this way because we all just teach phonics, but there's different ways to actually teach phonics so children understand. So the synthetic phonics is children learn how to convert letters or letter combinations in sound, and then they know how to blend the sounds together to form recognizable words. Analytic phonics are children learn to analyze letter-sound relationships in previously learned words. They do not pronounce sounds in isolation, so they do more blending. They combine it. Analogy-based phonics is children learn to use parts of word families they know to identify words they don't know that have similar parts. Okay, so that's like context clues. You can kind of see where everything's coming together. And then phonics through spelling. Children learn to segment words into phonemes and make words by writing letters for phonemes. And then embedded phonics, children are taught letter-sound relationships during the reading of the connected text. Since children encounter different letter-sound relationships as they read, this approach is not systematic or explicit. Okay, so it's more embedded. And then the onset rhyme phonics instruction. Children learn to identify the sound of the letter or letters before the first vowel, the onset, in a one-syllable word, and the sound of the remaining part of the word, which is the rhyme. And so you can see that these technical terms of phonics, you probably use a little bit of each one throughout your phonics instruction. But these are the different approaches that you may have learned about or may want to try. So then we move into word recognition. When a reader with years of experience reads a page, he doesn't stop and read every word and wonders what it means. Okay, so we as experienced readers, we just keep reading and the whole thing flows together, that we can see the pattern, we become more fluent, we're able to comprehend the text. So the more words we know with the word recognition, the stronger their comprehension skills become. And you'll even notice yourself when you sit down to read. Are you just reading through? You're not reading word by word. You're reading the whole sentence or the whole paragraph and getting meaning out of the text. And so that's when it turns into comprehension. So the more words they recognize, the stronger their comprehension will be. So what do we do to learn word recognition? Okay, so the best way to gain word recognition is to repeat and consistent exposure to the same words over and over. Okay, so we do that with flashcards or word lists that we send home, all that kind of stuff. All those things are good. And then we make sure that those words, the same words they're learning in word list or on our word walls or all that, is regularly learned, also seen in what they're reading in the classroom. Okay, despite the fact that English language is a vast and rich, contains a tremendous vocabulary, the fact is that only around 100 words comprise about 50% of the words that all people read in English each day. This means that constant exposure to the words that most people need to read to navigate their lives is not difficult to orchestrate. And you can go into the sight words, there's sight words, popcorn you can do, there's all those different things you can do. So those sight words, repeated words, word families, anything that you can bring into the classroom where it's a continuation. One of my favorite things was always to do a word wall. Any word we were learning, we would put on the wall. And by the end of the year, it took up an entire wall of my classroom, the whole wall, the long side. And so I would leave those up all the time. And then we would go on word hunts where they'd have to find certain words that describe certain words, and they would use the word wall. There's a graffiti wall that was fun to do one year. I had a big whiteboard brought in, and they could add new words to that. And then once we added all the words we wanted for that week, then we transferred them over to the word wall. So there's a lot of things you can do in the classroom that are very simple and easy to include into your classrooms. Okay, so there are 5 phases of word recognition development. That's that way we identify whether we're a proficient reader or not. And so these 5 phases, and I really like these. It helped me as a kindergarten teacher because then I could kind of figure out where my kindergarten kids were coming. So you start with a pre-alphabetic. This is composed of mainly pre-K students who use visual characteristics and environmental and configured clues to aid in word recognition. The successful reader of this phase or ability equals the ability to memorize words given the clues. And this is where your environmental print really comes in, because most kids start out reading like McDonald's signs or Burger King, anything like that. That's what they start out reading. And so that's the pre-alphabetic. And then the partial alphabetic is students who begin to recognize the relationship between letters and sounds. The successful reader of this phase has the ability to recognize some alphabetic letters and can identify words by sight when given a proper context or pictures. And so the kids start to memorize those words by sight, those ones that we do over and over. They may not know all the sounds yet or all the alphabet, but they've got at least half of it down. And then we move into the full alphabetic. This is where students have a grasp of letters and their specific sounds and are able to identify words based on this knowledge. The successful reader of this phase has the ability to decode unfamiliar words. So this is when we really move into the second half of kindergarten, first part of first grade. And they know the alphabet, they know all their letters, and they know all their sounds. And so they're able to put those phonemes together to make words. The consolidated alphabet, as students begin to use various spelling patterns in order to recognize words. The successful reader of this phase has the ability to read fluently and silently. Okay, and this comes a little bit later, more into first grade, sometimes kindergarten. Sometimes you will see this in kindergarten, but it really moves into the first grade, and then it just builds from there. And then fluent recognition, students who can recognize the day-to-day words that they come across and can read them fluently and automatically. So this is when the students have got a good bank of vocabulary in them, they're recognizing things, and then they're able to add to that vocabulary bank of words. All right, so let's talk about spelling. Spelling has always kind of got a bad rap from time to time because it's just spelling, memorizing words, but it is important to the development of especially early childhood. So spelling development, children can and should be taught to spell correctly. But in the beginning, children do not need to be able to spell in order to communicate on paper. Okay, so a lot of us preschool and kindergarten teachers, we encourage them to organize their thoughts and to and their ideas by making the scribbles or the nonsense words that they just write, what they hear, invented spelling. And then as they do that, as they start to draw what they're wanting to read, then that connects them to the words. It starts to connect to the words. And then over time, these children gradually add both learned and invented spelling to their graphic productions, to those drawings. So illustrations are very important, especially in the kindergarten, first grade level. All right, so let's keep going with these stages of spelling development. One of the most fascinating discoveries of the past century in the literacy field has been about children's ability to recognize the ways in which letters represent sounds in print and their inclination to experiment with their own spelling. Okay, so this is where we come into the invented spelling. It's where they learn to spell from what they're hearing, the spoken language. So children can see all around them in print, and they're able to communicate in some sort of medium. They decide to try their own versions of that communication, and they organize their versions according to the rules or patterns that are logical, though incorrect by adult standards. Okay, so what happens is with that invented spelling, step by step, they start to grasp the rules of the phonemes, those sounds that they make, how the letters are blended, and then it goes step by step. Okay, as they grow older, they start to really start to communicate like the rest of us. But it's a phase, it's a process. Okay, learning to read and learning to write or spell is a process, and we need to remember that. So here are the stages of spelling development. So you've got the pre-phonemic spelling phase of spelling. In this stage, the children just write down letters at random. Okay, it's kind of that invented spelling. They may just write words, or I'm sorry, letters. And for a word, they may put the T there for a tree, something like that. And that's good. That shows that they're starting to recognize that their brain is working and their hand is writing. Okay. And that's a big part of anything that we do. When we read and when we comprehend, if the brain is doing something and the hand is writing or doing something, it starts to go into memory and they start to learn. And then the early phonemic phase of spelling, this is when they're beginning to represent the words by the phonemes. Okay, they can usually represent the first and the last, maybe the middle consonant, but they usually can know the first letter of the word's first letter. Okay, and they start to recognize that this is the sound, the first sound is this. And then the letter name phase of spelling is children use names of letters of the alphabet as if they were building blocks of sound, which they can be constructive. So then they spell letter by letter. And then the orthographic phase of spelling is when beginning readers who are becoming aware of conventional spelling for sounds. Okay, so now they're learning those phonemic sounds, the patterns, the way they all go together, the vowels and the consonants, and how those work together to make words. The morphological phase of spelling is when children are able to spell in stable and correct ways with grammatical endings and prefixes and suffixes. Okay, so we're getting up there into probably second grade, and they're starting to realize that there's word parts. And then the derivatitions phase, I think I spelled that or said that wrong, but the derivatational phase of spelling is that they are spelling, they're spelling the sounds, and they're understanding those different phases of spelling. They're able to know the words, honor the words, know what the words mean. And so this all comes together and they're able to use the words that they have learned in relationship with other words. There's three things that we should always address when we're teaching spelling. One are survival words. Okay, students should be taught the correct spelling of words they often use. Okay, so we should correct their spelling. You know, don't let them go on with the invented spelling too long, but remember those survival words are very important. Students should be taught words that contain features they are trying to master. You know, what phonemes are you working on? What word families are in the text that you're reading? All of those things. And students should be taught to generalize from spelling words students know to spell new words. Okay, so activating that prior knowledge of other words to make new words. You should go through the alphabet. Okay, the alphabet is so important. You know, they need to know the names of the letters and then how the names of the letters relate to the sound. The patterns are in everything. Patterns are in everything we read, everything we see. And so they need to understand how words are formed and the patterns to the words, you know, like the consonant vowel consonant pattern. You've got the vowels in there, the long form, the short form of vowels, and so forth. The spelling variations based on word-oriented origins, you know, and so there's a lot of those weird things that we've added to the English language that may not sound right. And so let them know where those come from, know the origins and the variations, and then the meaning, the information. They need to know what those mean, okay? That letters represent meaning. And once they understand the why behind spelling, that they're learning new words so they can read more fluently, kids really start to grasp that. All right, and that's the end of my session today. I hope you will join us again. We have our Lobes for Literacy YouTube channel, and I think on this, you can click on this link and it'll take you to the Lobes for Literacy YouTube channel. Thank you, and please join us again.